Welcome to MUSKDRV. On today's MUSKDRV, we're unpacking the process of buying your first Tesla. I'm going to break this down into 3 short videos: making the decision, making the purchase, and taking delivery with your first drive. For today's video, we're going to cover making the decision with topics like safety, range, charging, ride handling and performance, vehicle options, warranty, service, roadside assistance, cost of ownership, and more, so stick around. This video is about making the decision to buy a Tesla, so I'm going to cover all the key topics that you'd otherwise have to research and explore yourself in a single video. I've included a quick reference guide below so you can skip to the sections you want to listen to without having to watch the whole thing and or use it as a reference guide later. Buying an electric vehicle is definitely very different than buying an internal combustion engine, otherwise known as an ICE vehicle. There are a lot of very important differences to consider in making the decision, the buying process itself, and day-to-day operation. But let's cut to the chase. I absolutely love all those differences in an awesome way. For example, no annoying salespersons and haggling with the buying experience. That's gone. Please like, subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Also note you can use my referral code in the link below for 1,000 free supercharger miles with your next Tesla order. EVs have a lot of differences from traditional ICE vehicles, so we're going to cover those here and help you make the decision to go electric. I'll start by saying something that is very consistent across the Tesla community, which is after you buy one, things change in your household forever. For examples, you'll seek out excuses to go for a drive. Your significant other will also seek out excuses to go for a drive and or drive it themselves. You'll get excited about the regular software downloads like it's Christmas when you were a child. Your habits around travel change. You look for places with destination chargers and start to discover new places to go. You don't think about gas stations anymore. And finally, you smile a lot when you're driving, particularly when launching at green lights. More on this later. The first reason to go electric is safety. Teslas are the safest vehicles on the road, period, full stop. Teslas have achieved perfect 5-star crash test ratings from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. You can go to their website and enter your vehicle info to pull up the safety ratings and scores and details. You can also go to the Tesla website and pull up the same information at your leisure. Elon made safety priority 1 with his vehicles and designed in crumple zones in the front and rear as examples to make them safer than any ICE vehicle on the road. But they have a whole host of safety features in them that make them safe in all road conditions, including snow and ice driving. I've included a few links below so you can get further details. The point is, you can walk away from severe accidents in a Tesla, and there are many videos out there demonstrating this. Now let's address the elephant in the room, or range. While range anxiety may be a real thing, it's absolutely nonsense these days, and I'll explain why. There are 3 really important topics related to range for an electric vehicle. This is an important mental exercise. You should write down some numbers as we go through this part given your own conditions. Those 3 items are average daily driving distance, charging at home, and available charging options. Your typical driver doing their average daily driving will not need to utilize the public charging stations. For example, many of the sites I've looked up, the average distance drive per day is 25 to 35 miles, depending on your source. For me personally, it's about 90 miles when I would do a round trip to and from work as well as other errands. EVs charge at home, unlike ICE vehicles. So imagine having a fuel station in your garage. Would you ever have to stop at a gas station again outside of going out of state or on a long trip? There are thousands of charging stations and options nowadays. And then finally, let's cover the range for each vehicle type. For the S, 3, X, and Y using lithium-ion batteries, the min and max range, depending on the vehicle, is between 260 miles to north of 400 miles. So typically you'll end up subtracting 20% from these for the normal usage range, 10% at the top and 10% at the bottom because of additional wear that occurs on the batteries. So here is an example chart that shows the ranges of the different models that you can currently buy between the Model S, 3, X, and Y. Bottom line on range, it does not matter for 99+% of your typical daily driving, and you'll love the fact that you never have to stop at a gas station again. The last item I'll cover on range is battery drainage. There is leakage, typically during colder temperatures. You can expect something like 0 to 10 miles leaked over a 12 to 24 hour period based on my experience. In 75 degree and above, the leakage is approximately nothing, but it does go up as it gets colder. Now to charging options and the time it takes to charge. The biggest difference is that charging batteries is non-linear, unlike filling a gas can, which is a 1-for-1. You put in a gallon and then there's a gallon of fuel, and you get the associated miles per gallon out of it. Not true with batteries. With batteries, the way you need to think about it is that it takes a charge faster the lower the battery is, and as the battery fills up on charge, it's harder to push more current in and therefore charges slower. For most of you, this charging will occur while you're sleeping, so it does not matter. Unless you go on a road trip, you're not going to be waiting for your car to charge. But there's some built-in perks when you do have to go on trips that ICE vehicles do not have. So if you're left waiting for that charge, don't worry, there's plenty to keep you busy in the vehicle. Let's go over some options and costs. First, starting with your home. Do you need home charging? No, but it definitely helps and is the real cool part about having an electric vehicle, because 99% of your time, you'll never need to stop at a public charging station. And it's typically cheaper. For the average home, you're going to spend about 10 cents a kilowatt hour, which when you look at the total cost, you're paying less than a third of what you would to fill up at a gas station with a comparable ICE vehicle. For the Tesla supercharging network, they have an online app on your phone as well as on their website that shows you where all of those supercharging stations are. On the road, you'll typically spend between 20 and 26 cents a kilowatt hour. Again, it's typically less than a third of what you're going to pay to fill up an equivalency in an ICE vehicle. Other details to know about the supercharging stations is that they do have idle fees. So you will get notified on your smartphone app when your vehicle is about to be completed with the charging, and the expectation is that you get your car out of there and let others charge so they don't hit you with those idle fees, which can be anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a minute. Some negatives about charging on the road: it does add time to the trip. So typically you're going to spend 30 minutes in a supercharging station depending on the model of the vehicle you have, but upwards of 50 minutes if you're charging like a performance Model S or X per stop. So a typical 10-hour trip with an ICE vehicle may take you between 12 and 13 hours with a Tesla. The other negative with charging at the supercharging locations is that many of the charging sites are not directly off the highways, and you have to take a little bit of a detour depending on your route that may be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes out of the way. And finally, there's destination charging. So many points of interest nowadays include charging at, say, hotels, lodges, wineries, airports, where you can plug your vehicle in and let it charge while you're there. Outside of the Tesla supercharging network, there are other charging options, and you can purchase the proper adapters from Tesla's website here in order to charge at all those other networks. They have a wall connector for charging at home in the US. This typically provides up to 48 amps of power at 240 volts and is supported by a 60 amp 2-pole breaker from your home panel. They have a corded mobile connector that can take different adapters for the wall plug, anywhere from 120 up through 240, with various NEMA adapters to plug into just about any wall outlet. The next is the CHAdeMO adapter, which enables you to use ElectrifyAmerica, EVGo, and other third-party charging networks. Another one is the SAE J1772 adapter. I've used this one quite extensively for, say, chargers at the local airport. The third-party alternative charging solutions are all over the place. You simply download the apps, set up accounts, and you're ready to utilize their entire charging network too, just in case there's no nearby convenient Tesla superchargers. So some of those that I use are ElectrifyAmerica, EVGo, Plugshare, and of course the AAA Centers. I've personally used all the options just mentioned, and while none of them charge a Tesla as fast as Tesla's superchargers, they are all good, reliable options. Even their 1-800 number and support are reliable 24/7, as I've had to call some of them, and they remotely support the operation of their chargers. If you want to plan a trip, there's an app for that too on Tesla's website, or you can simply go to your car, type in the address, or voice command it, and it will figure out the best route for you, including all the supercharger stops. Now on to the computer systems, and allow you to do so much more in your EV that you can't do in an ICE vehicle. Did I mention you can watch movies, play video games, do karaoke, and more? An example of some of the services included in your Tesla are Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, YouTube, multiple video game options, and much more. The software updates are the gift that keeps on giving. Teslas have regular software updates, which often include cool improvements to the function and performance of the vehicle, as well as just raw entertainment value. For the Model S and X, there's additional software customization associated with the air suspension. You can actually adjust and tune your ride performance. For the S and X, they recently added another upgrade that allows you to tune that suspension yourself for both the ride handling and the ride comfort. Finally, wheel size does matter, and it will impact the handling and the ride comfort of the vehicle. The larger the sidewall on the tire, the more it dampens the road bumps. But they do have a great PID, or proportional integral and derivative tuning algorithm, in their software to smooth out even the lowest profile tires. It's absolutely nuts what they've done with suspension, and it's one of my personal favorite parts about the car. From the Tesla website, quote, "There are different advantages to the 21-inch and 19-inch wheels. For example, the 21-inch wheels generally provide increased handling, whereas the 19-inch wheels wear less quickly and provide more protection from obstacles and poor road conditions." End quote. In other words, if you've got a lot of potholes, you may want to go with the 19-inch wheels with the higher sidewalls so that you're not constantly breaking your wheels. Speed. Let's get to the point. Teslas are fast, and this is one of the best features. They are all fast and generally perform better than their comparable ICE counterparts. Most have top speeds of 135 miles an hour or higher, with the S and X at standard 155 mile an hour, while the Plaid and the Roadster are north of 200 miles per hour. They all have crazy torque and take off the line fast. There's some great videos out there on how they have optimized the torque curves for the launch, regardless of which type of motor are used in the various versions. Again, back to software and their secret sauce. 0 to 60 times are excellent, and on all versions and even all years released within ranges from sub 2 seconds for the Plaid and the Roadster to as high as 5.6 for the Y and the 3 in the worst case. By comparison, that's still faster than the twin turbocharged Ford Explorer, which is currently used as the police interceptor. On to luxury amenities. Let's face it, Teslas don't come with much. Instead, they focused on the software, efficiency, and performance. Not many options to choose from on the interiors. They kept a no-frills approach to keep costs down and production fast. They don't have cooled seats, a real bummer for me, though heated is an option for the driver and passenger side in most vehicles and is included in all seats on the Model X and S. On to key fobs and cards. The Model S and X come with really cool key fobs as shown here. You can control the doors and the alarm, Sentry mode. These work passively as well when you walk up to or away from the car. The Model Y and 3 come with cards that look like a credit card shown here, but you can upgrade to a key fob for those vehicles as well, which I highly recommend. And the really cool part is that your phone also acts as a proximity key for all the vehicles. You can adjust the settings here and use it to unlock or lock and change other control features of your vehicle depending on the model that you have. Back to that smartphone app, unlike the other auto manufacturers, your Tesla, you get an app for that. You can control and monitor your vehicle remotely, access key information, schedule service, call for roadside assistance, monitor your battery and charging, and so on. It's really incredible. Now to service centers. Tesla has a map of their service centers on their website as well as on the phone. They also have a remote fleet that come to your home depending on zip codes, with both of these expanding by the day. Service can be scheduled right from the smartphone app, just like most everything else, but wait times can be long as their fleet of vehicles continues to outpace some of their other expansions. However, in my recent experience, I scheduled an appointment that was about 3 weeks out, and they were able to bring me in on an earlier canceled appointment 2 weeks in advance. I've used their service center only once in the first 20,000 miles on my Model X, simply because I wanted to try out the experience. I got the tires rotated. They flip just side to side since the front and rear tires are different sizes on a Model X. Got the tires balanced and a wheel alignment done, even though it didn't really need it. It was quick, easy, touchless, and what you'd expect from a Tesla. Warranty coverage. The standard warranty coverage is as follows. Basic vehicle, you get 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first. And for the battery and the drive units, which are the motors on a Tesla, it's 8 years or 120,000 miles or 150,000 miles, depending on the version, whichever comes first. I have friends that have gone up to 250,000 or more miles on their Teslas, and they've had very little done on their cars to this point in time. On to test driving. You can test drive a brand new Tesla at a local service center for free, and it's easy and a touchless experience. No car dealer with you while you're in the car taking the test drive. Unfortunately, you cannot test drive used Teslas in many cases, though you may be able to through a traditional ICE dealer that took one in on a trade deal. In closing, Teslas are one of those purchases that you won't have to worry about getting buyer's remorse over. Between the acceleration, which always brings a smile, the regular software updates that feel like Christmas gifts, and all the cool features of the software, Teslas are not just a car. Buying a Tesla is buying a new technology experience, like your first smartphone. Buying your way into the coolest community of people and getting on board with moving mankind to a sustainable future. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Please consider supporting the channel by liking, subscribing, or contributing to Patreon. Also, please leave a comment below on ideas for future videos. Your comments will be read. Now it's time to get out there for another Musk Drive.